Howdy, everybody. This is going to show you how to utilize some of the features in Outlook to help us organize our emails and help mitigate those issues of our emails getting lost or buried in threads. So when you open your email, the first thing that you'll notice on the left-hand side is three major tabs that we have that are favorites, folders, and groups. So automatically you have some things that are going to be put in your favorites, which is your inbox, your sent items, and your drafts. Anything else that's in your favorites, you have to indicate that you want it in your favorites. Okay, and you can do that. I'll show you how to do that here in a little bit. Right now, the groups. So if you go into groups, any group of which you are a member will show up there. Now, sometimes it'll automatically pop into your favorite section depending on how the person set up the group. Sometimes it doesn't. And so what we need to do is go and look and see what groups we need to have in our favorite section. And so I'm going to pick this one because this is a really important one for us to have, especially with progress reports, report cards, that sort of thing. So this is the Burgess Grades group that was set up by Ms. Galvez that allows us to communicate with her regarding anything to do with grades. So again, it makes sure that we're not sending unnecessary emails to people who shouldn't be receiving them. So right now mine is not in my favorites. So I need to make sure that it is so that I'm aware of when grades are due and I can appropriately meet deadlines. So I'm gonna, on this star, it even pops up as you hover over it, add to favorites. So I'm gonna do that. And then I'm gonna go up to my favorite section. And now I have a lot of folders and groups in my favorite section, but what it does is it reverts it automatically to the bottom. So now this is in my favorite section, it's gonna pop up and I'm gonna see it. Additionally, I can move it. So I want my groups to be at the top. I'm gonna click on my mouse trackpad and I'm gonna just run it up the ladder and place it where I want it. And because this one has to do with grades, I'm gonna put this one at the very top, right underneath my general folders that I'd like to have at the top as well. So again, it's here at the bottom left-hand side. Now you may have it not show up with all of your groups. You may have to click the More button, okay? But make sure that if it's groups that you're part of and you need to get emails from them readily, ensure that your star is clicked so that it's in your favorite section. The other thing that we can do in order to organize our emails is to create folders. So in folders section, you can see all of the folders that you have created throughout your time using Outlook. And then you can also create new folders. So I'm gonna create a new one called test. We'll just do that one. Sorry, I blanked out there. All right, test. So this one automatically shows up, but it's not gonna show up in your favorites yet. And the reason it's not going to show up in your favorites is because you have to tell it that you want it to add to your favorites. So you can either click the add favorite and then you can search for it. So as you see, my test is already there. The other option that you can do is do the right click if you're on a PC or the two-finger trackpad click on a MacBook. And then my options may not show up on the video, but if they do, what you have is an option to add to favorites. It also gives you an option to create a subfolder, delete the folder, empty the folder, mark everything in the folder as read, rename the folder, move the folder, or create permissions for the folder. But once you add it to favorites, it's going to do the same thing that it did with groups. It's going to revert to the bottom of your favorites section. And then again, you can click on the trackpad and move it where you need to. I also realized that I'm not going to need this folder. I was a bit overzealous in creating folders, so I can delete it, right? If you do that right finger click, or pardon me, the right click or the two-finger trackpad click, then you can delete the folder. Or pardon me, remove it from favorites first. And then if you want to delete the folder, go back in and do the same thing. Sorry about that. And then you would be able to delete the folder. It'll ask you, are you sure all the contents will be removed? Just make sure it is something that you want to delete because there is no recovery system. All right, so those are a couple of ways that we can organize our folders. Also, if things get lost or if we can't remember where one is because threads get so heavy, and then especially we have that reply to button that can sometimes add to the threads that are unnecessary for our needs. So we can go back into the group and then the original messages will be there as they were without the threads. Now, once you open them, the threads will show up, but otherwise it'll be a way for you to catch the original message. The next way that you can do that is through the search button. So you can search specific people. So if I need to, I lost an email from Mr. Smith and I need to make sure that I find it. So if you type in Mr. Smith's name, you can use it as a key term or a keyword, but what that's going to do is it's going to bring up any email that has Mr. Smith's name in it. So I want to be a bit more precise about that. So I'm actually going to click on and make sure that I'm searching for things that are from Mr. Smith's emails. And so that disaggregates all of my emails that I have received and are giving me only the emails from Mr. Smith. And you can do this with anybody who is in our system. Now, if you don't know who sent it or you're remembering, I know there was something about T-tests. Now you can go into the search and do keywords. But again, when you use keywords, that brings up anything in your email that has those keywords in it. So you may still have to fish, but it's something that you'll be able to find by using that search feature. The other way that you can make things important that always stay up at the top or that are even highlighted so that you know that they're important emails that you need to follow. So for example, there's a group of Burgess teachers who are joining the Apple Vanguard program through EPISD to become official Apple teachers. And so I want to make sure that this is on my forefront, even if I put it into folders. So I'm going to click on the flag here. And what it's going to do is it's going to flag this message, and you even see that it says flag for follow-up because it means I have something to do with this flag or with this email. So even if I put it into a folder, I'm going to be able to see it in that manner. And if you notice, it turns a little bit darker as if it's highlighted, so compared to the other emails in your group, so that you know this is something that's important. I'm also going to want to make sure that I'm addressing my emails as they come in. So while I want this flagged, I don't want it in my inbox anymore. So I'm going to move it by doing the trackpad click, and I'm going to move it over to the area that I want it to be in. So I'm going to put this one in my Burgess General folder, and then it's gone. It doesn't mean it's gone, it just means it's in my Burgess General folder. I'm going to do the same thing with this one. It's also information about the Vanguard. I'm going to put that into that Burgess folder. And so now my inbox is empty. And so anything that comes in now is new email that I can address immediately, and I can make sure that I'm processing within a timely manner. The other thing that I wanted to show you guys is make sure you're not putting it into groups, because if you put it into groups, then everybody can see it and you cannot easily remove it from the group. When you're sending an email, if you put, and you're sending it to a lot of people, the recommendation is to use the blind carbon copy. What that does is, everybody's going to still get the information, but they're not going to be able to reply all in order to clutter that email with thread. So even if they do reply, the way that you respond to that is by putting your personal email into this slot. And then the people who you want to receive it, whether it's a group or an individual list, into the blind carbon copy. A lot of our emails get bogged down because we're dealing with people replying thank you or I appreciate the message to messages that we're sending, and then it clutters our thread and we lose emails that way. So this is a way for you to help with that when you're sending the emails. When you're receiving emails, and you want to acknowledge that you've received it, you can, and I'm going to click on this one, there is a thumbs up button. And this thumbs up is a great way to show your sender that you've read the email. Okay, now this is not in lieu of a read receipt. That's a different system. If you receive that read receipt, you'll need to click that. But the thumbs up is a great way to say, hey, thanks for the information, without replying with a thank you, because I know that normally that's what we would do. But since we're so tied to our email, all it does is it adds to those threads and it makes it easier to lose email. I know this was a lot, so please utilize this video as you see fit. If it helps you, that's amazing. If it doesn't, please let me know how I can clarify or help you organize your email inbox. Thanks a lot, everybody. Y'all have a great day.